would think that would be a little they're home watching it on YouTube.
Haven't you?
Found it.
Found it.
Okay.
Getting close to the end of the semester.
Yeah.
I love doing this. Okay. Date is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Time is 5:33. Location is City Hall, City Council Chambers at 1103 West Main Street. Call to order, please.
Council President Kaiser,
Here.
Councilman O'Mara,
Here.
Councilman Christensen,
Did you say Christiansen?
Christensen,
Here.
Councilman Murray.
Okay. Stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please. If you have a hat on, please remove it. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joel, you're going to lead us in prayer. Please bow your head.
Our God and God of our ancestors, grant to our country the will and wherewithal to fulfill the calling to justice, liberty, and equality. May each of us fulfill the responsibilities of citizenship with care, generosity, and gratitude, ever conscious of the extraordinary blessing of freedom, mindful of our duties to one another. Bless those who volunteer to labor on behalf of all of us. May they find the strength and courage to complete their tasks. May our council members, mayor, and all who hold public office in Idaho exercise their responsibilities with wisdom, fairness, and justice for all. Fill them with compassion for the needy and fairness to all the citizens they govern. Bless them that they may walk with integrity on the path of leadership. Creator and protector of all, watch over our armed forces and those entrusted with our safety, the Middleton Police, as they daily put their lives at risk to protect us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe. Amen.
Amen.
All right, council, we have agenda before us. Any questions on said agenda? None? All right, I move we approve the agenda posted October 31st at 3:30 p.m.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, it's at this time, the public has an opportunity to speak on non-public items of city business. They'll have 3 minutes each. Come before the podium. We're waiting for the list. Oh. The first person is Teresa Denham. Teresa, will you come to the podium and say your name and address?
Actually, I'm going to abstain at this time.
Okay.
Until the next meeting, thank you.
John Del Rio.
Thank you. I'm John Del Rio. Rockstar Pools is my company. I'm a registered contractor here in Idaho. I build swimming pools all over the state. My client, Anthony Tudaboni, is here as well. It's regarding his residence on 1400 West Grassland Court. We're under contract to build a swimming pool and spa in his backyard. And as we are going through the process to get the building permit, we ran into a snag with the setback that is on this property and probably many others. I think it is a setback that is I'm going to say abusive, because his backyard, his total square footage of his backyard, it's a brand new home, 2,855 square feet. With the 13-foot setback, that's using up 1,685 square feet of his backyard. That's 59% of his backyard is unusable by him, even though he had to pay for it and pay taxes on it and maintain it. He cannot use it to have what anyone should be able to have in their backyard, which is a swimming pool if they can afford to buy one. We've already made adjustments on the size of the pool and spa. It's already smaller than what would be considered average by any means. And on the plat map, there is a 10-foot utilities easement that's on the map and a 20-foot setback for the home. We're well within both of those. But when we went to submit for permits, it was immediately kicked back to us because there's an additional 3 feet of setback for no, in my opinion, no apparent reason or no good reason, eating up his entire yard. This is wrong. We need to get this corrected somehow. We need your help to do that. I tried going through the normal channels through the building department and the planning department. I spoke with Roberta, and she basically, over a telephone call, out of hand said, yeah, it's not going to happen. You're not getting anything changed. You can come down here and speak to the council, and you can tell them about your dog or Sputnik or whatever you want. That's a quote. But you're not going to get anything done here. It was very rude, and then they hung up on us. But they didn't hit the button. So I got to hear more of the conversation. It wasn't very nice. I didn't appreciate that at all. I'm just trying to find a solution for my client, who you're going to meet here in a second. So I need help with this so we can build his pool for the reasons that he's going to explain to you why he needs this swimming pool. Not everyone needs a swimming pool. He does. So I'd like some wiggle room here. I don't understand why we need 13 feet of someone's backyard when they don't have more than 25 feet of backyard to begin with. It seems out of line, and I need your help with that, please. Thank you very much.
Anthony? Can you say your last name for me?
Sure, Anthony Tupoveni.
Okay, thank you.
I'm at 1400 West Grassland Court in Middleton. Like John has stated, we were trying to build a pool. When my wife and I sold everything and moved here from California, our builder, salespeople, and our realtor all knew that we wanted a pool inside the pool. That's why we waited so long to find a lot to build on. We found the lot. I understood there was a 10-foot setback. We went and measured. The pool was going to fit fine. I wasn't aware of this 3-foot that was going to be added on. Now I have nobody behind that other fence. I have 45 feet to the street, which means 45 feet plus the other 10 feet or 13 is 55 plus another 3 is 58 feet for something that may or may not ever happen. I'm asking for the pool because I use it for pool therapy. I had a pool at my house last year, and I heat it all year long. I have to because I need it for my therapy because of the injuries I had when I served in the military. I'm 100% disabled, total and permanent. And I've got a letter, saying that's from my doctor. If you guys want, I'm more than happy to give it to you. I'm just asking that you work with us, please. If we can, find some way to work around it or meet with us, and hopefully we can get this resolved between us. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. And we don't need that documentation. Your word is good enough for us. Janet Gibson?
Janet Gibson, 945 Harvest Way. When I thought I was going to come up here last week, I was full of fire and brimstone. I was furious at what I was seeing online. And now I'm just sad. Middleton is a town divided. There's us and there's them, whoever those people are. And it really becomes apparent when we have an election, like this last election cycle especially. The rhetoric, the name calling, the finger pointing, it's beyond the pale. It definitely culminated with the vandalism of someone's home, which I think that rhetoric, that incendiary commentary may have been a factor. During the town hall, the candidate forum, all the candidates were asked, what does Middleton need? And what did they say? We need commercial, we need industrial, we need this, we need that. Middleton needs unity. Middleton needs unity. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? Are you going to do that? You can't exist like this. This is not fun. It's not fun. It's not right. Don't attack each other. How do we have a city? How do we have a community if people are constantly at one another? I met a young gal a while ago, and she said, I'm from a small town. You have to be nice to each other because you're going to see each other at school, business functions, city functions. She says, but in the city, you don't have to be nice to one another because you're probably not going to run into them again. So we have people who aren't nice to one another, and we see them all the time. It's the worst of all worlds. How are we going to fix this? It starts at the top. It starts with leadership. It starts with decrying vandalism to somebody's home immediately with a forceful commentary saying that we don't adopt this incivility between our residents. We're a community. I didn't hear that right after that act. I was very disappointed. We need strong leadership, and we need leadership that will bring this city together. That's it.
Cheryl Page?
It's Cheryl Palange. No worries. Everybody butchers it. My concern, and maybe it's some of this is driving the lack of civility, but I totally agree with what she said. On October 1st, I went to Canyon County's court. I listened to a hearing for $78 million in indebtedness to do the sewer repair. I get the sewer repairs needed. But the city's attorney stood up and told the judge that that $78 million was for current residents only and included no expansion and no future expansion, or no excess capacity and no future expansion. A couple weeks later at the AOI hearing, we heard that it does include expansion, and the city's engineer said it included about 10 to 15% expansion. A few weeks later at the next hearing, the city's planner got up and said, and clarified corrections, stated it was a clarification, that the engineer wasn't an expert, that it was a three-phase expansion for $78 million, or a three-phase project for $78 million, and it did include expansion of about 5,400 EDUs. But that was on current residents. Now I'm listening to the podcast by your public works guy that was posted on Saturday, and at that last hearing, one of the commissioners asked for clarification of the cost, and it was because the way it had been described, all these phases and the cost associated with them, it seemed like it was around 120 if you added it up. And your planner said no, it's 78 for all of it. Then I listened to the podcast that just came on Saturday from your public works guy. He says it's 120 to 130 million for all the phases. I'm just wondering what the truth is, because it's on the backs of these residents who are going to pay for this. And it seems like every time someone speaks, there's a different message. And I'm just wondering who knows the facts. Is that reasonable?
Information item number 1. Ms. Hobbs, honoring veterans.
All right, council and mayor. Next week we have a beloved holiday, Veterans Day, on the 11th. So today we are honoring officially our veterans. We would like to honor them and say thank you for their service. But in specifically, we have veterans here that serve the city of Middleton every day on our staff and elected officials or people who serve on boards. So we want to specifically recognize them. We have a small token of appreciation that will be handed out privately. So we want to recognize Nathan Hilke, served in the Army, Jordan Medeiros in the Navy, Keston Kogel in the Army, Darren Armis in the Army, Dave Zam, Navy, David Murray, Army, and Ray Waltemate, Army National Guard. It's with great appreciation from the city of Middleton that we thank them and all of our veterans around the country for service to our country. Thank you.
Okay, number 2, Compass is here for a presentation to hopefully make us more aware and more informed on our traffic issues
and growth in general. Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Craig Rayborn. I'm the still relatively new Executive Director for Compass, the Community Planning Association of Southwest Idaho. I've been in the position now for just over 8 months and still kind of learning the ropes. But one of the things that we do every year is come around and meet with all of the jurisdictions, all of our member agencies at the staff level. We do this annually at the staff level to sort of learn the needs and the issues for the community. We had that meeting last week. But this year, because I'm still new and this is something that we don't do as frequently, I'm coming around to meet all of the local elected officials as well, because I want you to know that Compass is your agency and I'm here for you. So my contact information is available in the presentation. I think it's also been distributed to everyone as well. So always feel free to contact me if you have something that you think that Compass can help with. It's mainly focused on transportation, but it goes beyond that as well. So let's go ahead and advance the next slide. We didn't work out hand signals to make this work, but let's back it up one so I can just give a little bit of background about myself. So this map just shows places that I've worked in transportation planning or have lived. So it's primarily been in the Intermountain West area and in the south, and primarily in areas that are rapidly growing. So a lot like this region, and so I've worked quite a bit with communities like Middleton that are facing the kind of growth and transportation related growth issues that you guys face. I come here most recently from Houston, prior to that, Las Vegas. Let's go ahead, Ben. So I'll just briefly cover a little bit about just who is Compass. So we're the association of cities, counties, highway districts, and other agencies around the region that plan for the future. Let's go ahead. But mainly the important thing to take away is that Compass is our members. So our board is made up of mostly elected officials. I'll note, Mayor Hutchison is on our board. I'll also note that Jason Van Gilder serves on our advisory committee. But Compass exists, and we are entirely governed by the direction from our board. Good. So our mission, given all of that, is to conduct regional planning, facilitate coordination, cooperation around the region, serve as a source of information and expertise on issues affecting our region, and then assist agencies to try to find funding as well as meet whatever other specific local goals you may have that fall within the purview of the kinds of things that we touch on. So to do that, we conduct transportation planning, We distribute the federal transportation dollars for the region. We provide technical expertise on a range of issues. And then we facilitate cooperative and collaborative process to undertake all of these activities. So I just want to briefly talk about what the region as a whole is facing. So this map, what you're currently looking at right now is the population density for our region. And obviously the darker brown shades, the brown shades are showing population density. The darker shows, higher density. And then the blue areas are showing the higher density job areas. So like retail type jobs don't really show up in this screening, but it's really the concentrations of employment around the region. And so, the congestion that we see, for instance, early in the mornings or at night or at the end of the workday, that's people traveling from the brown to the blue and back. And that basically is the simple reason for why there's the traffic that we have. So let's go ahead and advance it. And this one's going to show what the region looks like in 2055, so 30 years from now. This is based on data that we assemble. We track development permits all throughout the region. And so we have a really good handle on this and being able to project what growth looks like in the future. And you can see a pretty significant change for Middleton. Can we go back one and then forward? Oh, well, that's okay. No, I know. I've had the PowerPoint not work at all a few times, and it's not as easy to do. So yeah, you can show, yeah. So pretty significant change for the region. So we project that in your current area of impact, the population is basically going to double, a little bit more than double in the next 30 years. Now, interestingly, your jobs are going to, by our current projections, and then we work with the state to develop these, but your jobs would actually triple in that time. And because there aren't new high-density areas going in, that's probably a bit of a relief, because that probably indicates that you're going to have more local retail and service type jobs in the city or your area of impact at least. And so that should have some traffic impacts as well. Okay, so what Compass provides though is, first one is a seat at the table where we make the decisions about what the region's transportation system for the future is going to look like. We also are your voice outside of the region. So we're a member of what's called National Association of Regional Councils and the Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations. And so we work with peer agencies all over the country as well as at the national level to try to bring in more resources here and to develop and identify and develop and implement locally what the best practices are for the types of issues we deal with. Like I noted before, we provide the financial assistance for transportation projects all throughout the region. We also provide technical assistance to our member agencies as well as the public, and we maintain a number of web-based resources. And then we also do this demographic and analysis activities like the data I was just showing. Generally a regional growth of 37%. And then we do long-range planning, and that really means long-range problem solving. The primary approach that we use for that is Communities in Motion. And Communities in Motion is actually the wrap-up of all of the other plans that we do throughout the region. So, for example, we just earlier this year adopted a regional safety action plan. We do connectivity studies all over the region. Specific to here is where Middleton is very much engaged in the Northwest Canyon study that we're conducting, Northwest Canyon County mobility study that we're conducting with ITD. We're undertaking a resilience plan where we're looking at the impacts and potential responses and ways that we can sort of make our, harden our infrastructure to be more resilient to any kind of natural weather type disasters and incidents like that. And like I said, those all wrap up into this regional long-range transportation plan called Communities in Motion. So Communities in Motion, thank you. Communities in Motion lays out 4 primary regional goals, and then there's a whole bunch of specifics underneath all of these things, but it's basically to improve transportation-related safety, to enhance economic vitality, to support the region's quality of life, and then to improve and maintain the convenience of travel that we have in the region, and like I said, hopefully to improve that convenience of travel that we have in the region. So we do a number of things with this plan. One of them that's directly relevant to Middleton is we look at larger developments that are happening around the region, and we crosswalk those against the elements of the plan. And so you can see this is our development review checklist, and we do this for every development that's above a large commercial or retail square footage or more than 100 new rooftops. And so we've done 22 of these, I think, since 2020, just for Middleton. We do them, like I said, for anyone who requests them. And so we look at how those projects will impact transportation safety, or how they'll impact quality of life, and some of those measures that we have. The plan leads us then to identifying also a large list of funded improvements throughout the region. So those include maintenance projects, safety-related things, bridge projects, intelligent transportation system to try to make the transportation system work better, public transportation activities, ped bike projects, travel demand management, which is kind of trying to encourage people to like combine a trip instead of making a trip to the grocery store and a trip to the gas station, do it all in one trip. And if all that stuff happens and you add it up, it ends up making a difference in the load on the roads. And then obviously, of course, roadway expansion. But we tend to save that for last because we want to try to be able to solve these problems with the other tools that are in our hand. So the benefit from these investments, what this map is showing, and basically the darker or wider the lines are on this map, the worse the peak hour congestion is on this map, or traffic flow. So this is what we currently have right now in 2025. And then now, without the investments, let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is what the roads would look like in 2055 without the investments that are currently identified in the plan. So, there's obviously a lot of need for that. But then let's go ahead and advance and show what it does even with the, so let's go the other direction. And then one more, there we go. So this is with the improvements, and you can still see there's a lot more degradation to the transportation system and its performance over the next 30 years, even with the billions, roughly $11 billion of investments that are going to happen all over the region in that time period. So let's go ahead. So that leads us into this big list of unfunded needs that we have. So all kinds of maintenance projects, road projects, pathways, transit, but all of those in our last plan, go ahead and advance it, added up to $16.5 billion of total project needs. We're funding with estimated available funds from all sorts of sources. That's property taxes and federal dollars and gas tax and everything. Around the region adds up to $11 billion. So a shortfall of just over 5.4, well, I guess $400 million isn't chump change, but 5.4 billion. And that means a shortfall every year of $193 million of transportation investment, maintenance, projects that we're starting to fall behind on. And we've been doing this. This is from our plan that we adopted 2 years ago, so we're falling behind. And we'll continue to do that. So to respond to that, Compass is going to have a very active 2026 legislative approach. So our board just 2 weeks ago adopted its statewide or its state legislative policy positions. They basically focus on three main priorities of increasing revenue, addressing growth impacts, and then trying to link housing and the housing shortages to transportation infrastructure and try to find ways to encourage housing where there's existing transportation, underutilized transportation infrastructure. Our approach this year is really going to focus on incremental changes, and then I'll just note that we also look at federal policies. I've worked in the federal policy arena for a while as well, and so that's part of why the board brought me on, is to try to seek resources at the federal level for the region as well. So as a result of all of this, we think that Compass is really, we make things happen. So we start with this long-range planning process to identify the needs. We work with, knowing those needs and the project sponsors and the public through a significant amount of outreach. We find the best project solutions. Then we find ways to fund those projects, the partner agencies build them, and that leads us eventually to the region and the residents seeing those benefits from the work. Let's go ahead and advance. One of the ways that we do this is through what we call the Resource Development Program, where we turn those plans into projects and those needs into projects. And so every year, and this is part of why we're doing this outreach activity right now, is every year we go and try to learn from the community and our member agencies what the transportation needs are to identify projects. And so we have an application process that's underway right now. You can go ahead and click through a couple of these. So we go through this application process, and for those that we're able to fund, we have two different small grants that we do. One's really related to planning, to identify and start laying the groundwork for bigger type projects so that we can start moving those forward, and I'll give some examples of those. And then another one is to help pay for, or even pay for entirely, really small projects like intersection improvements or sidewalk type improvements, and we kind of do some of those as well. So that's underway right now. A little fast. Okay. That's okay. So that's underway right now. The current application phase for that is open right now through November 19th, and then we'll have another one in the spring, and that's to identify the projects that we'll fund next fiscal year, starting next October. So some of the examples of these, the big one that can you go back one slide? So the big one that we like to point out is the State Highway 16 project, which will benefit this region, or this part of the region quite a bit. That started way back in 2006. So these projects they don't happen overnight. But that 2006 is when that first went into our long-range plan, and it has undergone development and refinement and sort of demand modeling to make sure that it's the best approach and the one that will actually solve the problems that we're seeing for that future. And hopefully that future is now, because it's anticipated to open in 2027. So it's getting very, very close. So the next one is sort of an example of smaller projects that happen around the region. So this is the pedestrian bridge that Compass worked with the City of Eagle and ITD, Idaho Transportation Department, to build along Eagle Road. We started that project back in 2016, and it was completed in 2023. So those take a while to go through, and that's one of those projects that actually started with Compass's project development program. And after a few years, we secured the funding, and then we had the time to get it constructed and built, and it was, like I said, completed just a couple years ago. One example, relatively recent, specific to Middleton, is Cemetery Road project, that new road segment connecting Highway 44 to Middleton Road. It started in 2010, was completed in 2021. There was a gap in there where we were searching for funding, and that's somewhat common when you have that shortfall of $193 million that I noted annually right now. That's been going on for years, and so we're always playing catch up, and there's never enough money to pay for all the worthy projects around the region. But we worked on it, and eventually we were able to bring in just over $4 million of federal funds and secure that with just under 600,000 locally sourced funds. So, as I noted, we met with your team just last week. The priorities that we heard were securing grants for these infrastructure improvements. That's a perennial one that we hear quite a bit. Specific to Middleton, we heard quite a bit about the need for infrastructure improvements near the schools, including crosswalks and lighting, resolving traffic congestion around bus stops. And I know there's some history around that as well. And then improving sidewalks in the existing neighborhoods as well as the new neighborhoods that are starting to come in. So Compass can help, and I'm going to run through a bunch of different things that we do now. So just specific in response to these is we can help with applications. We have a grant supporting function. We can search for funds for the highest priority projects. And then we can assist with coordination meetings with the highway district, with ITD, with other local agencies, with the county, whatever. So the ways in which we're here to help, like I said, we plan for your future. We plan for the overall transportation system, not just what it needs now, but what it's going to need in 20 or 30 years. We really focus quite a bit on safety, trying to save lives from the transportation system. We facilitate regional discussions. We find ways to fund the projects. Go ahead and advance it. And then there are other ways that kind of function a bit more behind the scenes, but we collect, analyze, develop, use, understand serve up on the internet data about the region. We try to connect everything that the local planning agencies are doing, your city as well as the county and the highway district are doing, so that everything is sort of coordinated at the regional level. We provide a tremendous amount of free educational resources, and then every year we recognize achievements, the good things that people are doing or projects that have been implemented in the past year or completed in the past year throughout the region, so that everyone gets a chance to sort of have their hard work acknowledged. So next slide. And this has been the brief version of this. Every year we also do a couple of what we call Compass 101. Those are scheduled for late January this coming year, next 2026. That's a longer presentation. We go a lot more into depth about the real functions, the restrictions, the requirements, the processes, things like that, that are important to be able to really fully utilize what we offer. And then next, just want to thank you for your time. Happy to answer any questions. And then my contact information is the last bit of info in the presentation. Thank you.
Councilman
Mayor,
Kuchar.
Council, if I could ask just a couple of questions. I've been to enough of your meetings. I think I probably know the answer, but I think it's worth clarification, not just for myself, but others here.
Absolutely.
And it has to do
And if I could, if I
Sure,
don't
of course.
know, I've got our real resource here who runs our
Yes,
resource
he
development
is. He's the
process.
money
So,
guy.
yeah.
So anyway, the point is, I'll make it brief, is money. Of course, there's a shortage of that for everyone. As it relates to your funding resources, ITD, possibly Canyon 4, ACHD, and others, LTAC, are they all separate funds? There's a couple of questions here. Do you have your own source of funding yourself?
Yeah.
Grants, et cetera? ITD their own? LTAC, all the different areas that you interact with here. So that's question one. Question two then, how are those funding mechanisms integrated into one? Are you a partner, my third question, are you a partner with ITD or Canyon 4 or ACHD, and how does that money flow? I think that maybe it's more complex than we want to get into here tonight, but I think it's important for everybody, not everybody, but at least for us and those that are interested here, to kind of understand how that works.
Yes, thank you, council member. So yeah, and Mayor, if I may. So the brief answer to the first one, and let's set Ada County aside, because the funding mechanism for them is a little bit different. But for the jurisdictions that are in Canyon County, the region as a whole shares throughout the state with other what we call large urban counties, so the other metropolitan planning organizations around the state. They share a pot of money, and we allocate the funds within that pot of money every year. In fact, we have we have our meeting for that. One of the 4 meetings we do every year, or 4 times a year, is actually tomorrow, and we'll be talking about what the resources are that are available and how to allocate those around the region or around the state within those larger urban regions. So that's really the primary pot of money that Compass itself directly plays the role in getting programmed. Other resources, Compass, because of our role as what's called a metropolitan planning organization, larger projects, regardless of the funding source, are required to go through our planning process and be approved by our board to go into what's called a transportation improvement program. And that's really the list of all of the big projects around the region. And that also includes all of the federally funded projects in the region as well. And so when you work with LTAC or ITD, those projects, when they get funded, they also go into our transportation improvement program. And so they are partners with us as well. ITD is a member of our board, and LTAC and ITD, as well as the city, are on what we call the Regional Transportation Advisory Council, or committee. I'm not sure. Committee. Sorry about that. And that group is advisory to our board, and so everything that the board considers goes through that group first. I think that answered.
Yeah, that does. I mean, I know
Yeah.
maybe I'll talk to you separately another time, but Then there's approvals, approvals of ITD money as it relates to your Compass programs. I mean, that's getting more in depth.
It's rare. It's happened a few times in the past, if I may, where Compass has not been in alignment. The Compass board has not been in alignment with the project that ITD wants to do or wants to prioritize over something else. I mean, in those situations, we work very closely with them to try to resolve those disputes. That's really our role. Is to make sure that the projects that actually get funded and implemented, even if we don't directly supply the funding, that those projects are happening in our region, and we're kind of the stewards of the transportation system for Canyon and Ada counties. We need to make sure that it reflects what the needs are that our board has agreed to.
Great. Thank you, State, for taking the time to answer my questions.
Any other questions, Council?
Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
I look forward to you returning next year on what you're going to do again at Middleton. Can't help.
All right, first action item is our consent agenda tonight. We got approving minutes from City Council October 15, ratifying payroll for October 31, and accounts payable through October of 24, October 24th. Council question on any accounts payable?
They all look fine.
No? Okay. All right, then I move we approve consent agenda items A, B, and C.
Second.
Amira. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, number 2 is swearing in of Officer Chaz Gray. And also number 3 is presenting Officer Riley Atkinson with post certificate. I'm saying this at the same time so that after this 2 items take place, we're going to take a short 5-minute break so we can have officers have pictures with their families back here. It'll just be 5 minutes.
You get to stand for it.
Okay, this is the City of Middleton's official oath of office. I, Chaz Gray,
I, Chaz Gray,
do solemnly affirm that
do solemnly affirm that
I will honor and uphold the United States Constitution,
I will honorably and uphold the United States Constitution,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
the Constitution of Idaho,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Middleton.
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Middleton.
I will faithfully perform the duties of a Middleton police officer
I will faithfully perform the Middleton duties of a police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I will enforce laws courteously
I will enforce laws courteously
and without partiality and hypocrisy,
and without partiality and hypocrisy,
and I will be an example
and I will be an example
of obeying the city rules and laws.
of obeying the city rules and laws.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, welcome aboard.
And on behalf of the City of Middleton and the Middleton Police Department, I'd like to present Officer Gray with his badge, but it's a big helmet on and do a short name, his wife Kayla. So I'm going to call her up now. Thank you. Please don't.
If you feel resistance, push harder.
you want to call it the third item, or just want to proceed into it?
Chief Smith will present Officer Riley Atkinson with post certificate.
So contrary to the agenda, we actually have two such certificates to present tonight. One is a basic certificate for Officer Riley Atkinson, and one is an advanced certificate to Officer Nick Randall. So I'd like to call them both up right now. So the first certificate I want to present is to Officer Riley Atkinson, and this is presented to an officer after they meet certain criteria. They have to complete a basic police academy, which is a 14-week assignment at the Post Academy in Meridian. They have to complete field training and evaluation program, which can be upwards of 17 to 20 weeks. And then they have to complete a probationary period with their respective police departments. So he has successfully checked all those boxes. And so with that, I would like to present Officer Riley Atkinson with his basic police officer certificate. And this is Officer Randall. And in addition to all the things I just mentioned to obtain a basic certificate, the state of Idaho also offers intermediate and advanced certificates. Officer Randall was presented with his intermediate certificate some time ago and has now completed, in addition to the things I just mentioned, it's basically a combination of years of service, college education, and post-training hours, and he has met those requirements to be presented with his advanced police officer certificate. So I
was going to say smile and look pretty.
Sure.
We don't have chairs.
And we're going to shut this down.
You got that one? Okay.
Sure.
Are you all in office for that?
Thank you, President Kaiser. Thanks, please. Oh, yeah, okay.
Doing the group picture first.
Let's have you and Randall and Atkinson all kind of together. And I don't know if you guys want your certificates for this thing. I probably don't think so. So here, you just want to set up. You're staying in direction? Yes, that's it.
It just seemed fitting. We did our thing together.
All right, are you the main camera?
Yes, Kylie.
Great. All that.
Did you get all of
We good?
us? Did you get all of us?
Nice. We good?
She knows how to take pictures.
All right. I'm surprised. I'm impressed.
appoint the members for the 4th of July Parade Fireworks Advisory Committee. The committee shall consist of up to 8 members, nominated by the mayor or members of the council, confirmed by majority vote of the city council. The membership shall include 2 Canyon County residents, 4 City Middleton residents, and 2 City of Middleton City Council members, as described in Ordinance 714 adopted on 9/17/2025. Ms. Hobbs.
All right, Mayor and Council, we have before you some nominations, 3 of them for the 4th of July Parade Committee. So tonight the objective is to discuss them. You've seen them, this is in your packet, and to nominate them, yes? No? And to move forward.
All right.
Kylie, can you go to the main, so we have Alan Trumbull, Christopher Corbin, and Mike Cospidas.
Good job.
I messed that up big time.
And I believe we have, do we have all 3 candidates here?
Is Mike here?
Mike, are you here? No?
Okay. No one's here.
Christopher. Okay, we have 1 of them.
All right. Very simple. Appreciate him wanting to step up. All right, then I move to nominate Alan Trimble, Chris Corbin, and Mike Caspadas. I hope I said that right, Mike. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you guys for your time.
Can I ask, the one that's here, are you city or, there you are, right in front of you. Where do you live? I mean, in the city or?
Yeah, no, Middleton Lakes.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
sure.
Okay, we are opening the public hearing. The time is 6:27. Application of Michael and Marcy Higginson Holdings LLC for rezone of 702 Boise Street, which is vacant land, approximately 6.67 acres in size. The parcel is currently zoned R3, single-family residential, and C2, medium commercial. Applicants are requesting a rezone to C3, heavy commercial. Ms. Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. We'll get that up on the screen real quick. All right, let's first look at vicinity. You can see Highway 44 to the north, Boise Street, Ridley's, right behind the Casa Mexico kind of commercial area. So you might recall this contract and this project. It was the Higginson contract that came to you back in September 2023. Basically, the city needed right away from their property for the straightening of Middleton Road that would be connected to Riverwalk Crossing, actually, too. And in exchange, we gave them a little bit of our property, and they gave us a little bit of their property for the Middleton Road west half. And also in that agreement, we agreed to do a lot line adjustment to kind of move the multiple parcels around, make sense of it all. And then finally in that agreement, City Council agreed to give them a rezone to C3. And that was approved, like I said, on September 20th, 2023 with resolution 48723. Since then, the Higginsons have submitted an administrative lot line adjustment, and we switched around multiple it was a puzzle. It was a crazy jigsaw puzzle, but we got it all straightened out. So we have parcels that are more buildable, and now they're on to the second step, which is to do the actual rezone to C3. So that's the background. Currently, the parcel is zoned R3 south of the Kennedy Canal, and it's C2 medium commercial on the north side of the canal. It's vacant, approximately 6.67 acres in size. The parcel is surrounded by C3 heavy commercial on the east and the west. You can see it up there in the dark blue. And C2 is to the north of the project. And then there's some mixed use to the south of the project. The mixed use also has a commercial component. So a finding of fact would be the property is infill property in the middle of an area generally zoned commercial. So the request to go C3 commercial zone will complement and blend with the other commercial zones surrounding that property. Sewer and water are adjacent to the property. Both are located in Kings Avenue and also up in Boise Street. So city services are readily available just adjacent to the site. And that may be a pertinent fact for your order. So applicant, as we said, is requesting a rezone to C3. An application for a rezone requires 2 findings before the governing boards can approve the rezone. First, there must be a finding that the rezone will not adversely affect the city's delivery of services, schools, roads, sewer, water, etc. And secondly, a finding that the rezone would not be in conflict with the comprehensive plan, that it would be in harmony with the plan, basically. So planning staff finds that the rezone will not adversely affect the city's ability to deliver services because the vacant lot is an infill project and it's surrounded by city roads, infrastructure, and utilities that are already in place. Planning staff also finds that the rezone request is in harmony with the comp plan. The future land use map shows the subject parcel in the transitional use area, and that's a use area that combines both commercial and high density, so it fits right in with the FLUM. No comments from surrounding landowners. No, I think there's a comment from the agencies. They were attached as Exhibit B to my staff report. Pertinent codes up on the screen. Notification was correct. So the P&Z Commission heard this application on October 20th, 2025. They recommended that City Council approve the application for rezone to C3 because it is an infill project and it is surrounded by commercial and also the property exchange agreement. Per state law in the Middleton City Code, Council's decision on a land use application must be set forth in a written, reasoned statement. It should be based upon findings of facts and conclusions of law. I set forth above the relevant facts in italics, and I highlighted them on this presentation. As to conclusions of law, staff set forth the portions of the Idaho State Code and City Code to be considered. Planning staff showed that the proposed rezone would not adversely affect the city's ability to provide services because the parcel is an infill parcel with sewer, water, and road infrastructure already in place. Staff further showed that the requested zone comports with the commercial uses shown on the city's comp plan future land use map. Staff also showed that the surrounding area is already commercial in character, and this rezone will match or complement the surrounding area. Staff further finds that Council has the authority to hear this application and to approve or deny it. Staff also notes that all public notice requirements were met. So if Council is inclined to approve the rezone application, staff does not recommend any conditions of approval. If Council denies the application, then Council should state what the applicant can do, if anything, to obtain approval. And I stand for questions.
Mayor, Council, just a quick one. I'm not sure what use it is that the applicant wants to use it for, but my question would be about access into the property if they plan to use it for an office building. Did I miss that, or was that addressed in your? So if would they be coming off of Middleton Road, the side road up above? How would the access? Because there's a railroad to the east of it. So I'm not sure how they would approach.
At this point, they're not bringing in a project. I don't have a subdivision plat in front of me or even a design review for any buildings. So, and it could depend on the timing of when they do bring in an application, because if it's down the road and Middleton Road has been straightened, they could take access from Middleton Road. Currently, they could take access from Kings Avenue. That's the road that where the RV dump was located. And they could also take access currently from Boise Street to the north. I don't think access is going to be an issue.
Okay. Just thought I would ask.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, just a question.
I realize that this is still down the road a little ways, but that half of Middleton Road, would they be responsible for the improvements to the center of the road?
Yes, if they bring in a subdivision or even a single parcel commercial building, they have to do all road frontage, just like anybody else does who brings in a subdivision.
Thank you, Roberta.
Yeah.
Okay, we're now open for public testimony. Somebody bring me the time is 6:35, and we have one person.
I think the applicant is here. It might be the applicant.
Marcia? Higginson? I'm sorry,
No, that's fine. Mayor, council members, I'm Marcy Higginson, 5815 North Rosa Springs Avenue in Meridian. I think Madam Planner did a great job of explaining everything. The planning and zoning and city recommend that we rezone the parcel to C3 because it gives us the broadest amount of commercial uses. We're not developers. We just invested in this a long, long time ago and worked with the city on what they wanted to do. We just hope the best for Middleton, and maybe someday we'll benefit from that. Do you have any questions for us?
no, I'm happy that it goes from houses to commercial.
Yeah, I think it'll benefit Middleton in the long run for sure.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Public testimony is closed. The time is 6:36. Council, do you have?
Council questions on any of this?
No, it's super straightforward.
Very straightforward. All right. I move we approve.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I just went to a planner conference and I just learned that we need to maybe up our game a little bit on our FCOs. And I need to know what facts you're relying upon. So I need you to state them in the record because then I'll put them in your order. You could just say all the italicized facts that I put in my staff report, that it was infill, that it's in a commercial area, but so that your FCO is actually based upon stated facts that you are relying on. We need to show that.
Stated facts in your report.
That'll do it.
Okay.
There was just 3 or 4 pertinent ones, and I'll just grab them and we'll put them in your order.
Okay.
I think
Thank
that
you.
is something we typically read into it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, I think we could do a better job.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Then I move we approve the application by Michael and Marcy Higginson, Higginson Holdings LLC for rezone of 702 Boise Street. Vacant land approximately 6.67 acres. Parcel is currently zoned R3 and C2. We will rezone to C3 based on the findings of facts in the staff report.
Second.
Perfect.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6, regarding improvements to Willis Road pedestrian crossing at Middleton High School. Consider authorizing the mayor to execute an on-call service task order with Precision Engineering for the Willis Road RRFB crossing at Middleton High School concept development in an amount not to exceed $10,600. Mr. Van Gilder, please.
My apologies, Mayor. I assume we're on number 5, the 6, the pedestrian crossing at Lowe's.
Yes, please.
Yes. This was something the council had brought to our attention, I believe 2 meetings ago. This is the crossing. This is directly across from the high school on Willis Street. There's a path that leads down from West Highlands that kind of empties into nowhere. And then there's the logical pathway would be for the children to walk all the way down to the roundabout at Emmett, cross there, come back. And there was a question of would this be a place for a mid-block crosswalk? And with the recognition from the council that I'm a big fan of mid-block crosswalks, we did look at it. This is different than other mid-block crosswalks. If there was one place to do it, this might be it. We reached out to our traffic engineer and also to our city engineer and all discussed it together. The traffic engineer, Joel Grounds with Precision Engineering, came back with a proposal to prepare a concept for that would show what all would be involved to do that correctly and right. And then from that concept, we could probably get costs to go implement that, move forward. So the particular item you have before you is the cost for Precision Engineering to do that concept study that's directly at Willis, immediately north of the high school. With that, I'll be glad to stand for any questions council might have.
I just want to clear something up for those that are sitting in the audience. Most of the time when you see a crosswalk that's at a corner, this is in the middle of the road. And that's why we're concerned, because when we're driving, we don't actually very often see a crosswalk in the middle of the road. And so that's why a lot of engineering and information is needed for this. Thank you, sir. Councilman O'Meara.
Just a couple of questions. First, are we going to be a signalized crosswalk?
This would have the flash, likely it would have the flashing beacons beside the road, not an overhead.
Okay. And then this is our city street, correct?
Correct.
It's not a county road
Correct.
anymore?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any funding opportunity from our Compass organizers who spoke so highly about their ability to fund such projects?
I can say that it's not on their window.
Yeah, I figured as much. Just thought I'd ask. That's all I have for you, Jason.
Thank you.
Jason, this is one that's gonna, basically, we're gonna cross right to about where the pump house is.
We would probably go a little east of where the school buses leave the school. If you're looking on the map,
Yep.
the crosswalk kind of comes in at sort of the wrong spot,
Yeah.
Opposite the driveway.
Yes.
So we would probably shift it to the east a little bit, and then we'd need to put in an accessible curb ramp down from the pathway. We would probably widen out the back of the pathway so that we still have ADA clearance on level space behind the curb ramp. We would put a corresponding curb ramp on the south side. That would then get people back into the sidewalk travel way.
Do you mean move it west towards the
Oh,
football?
I'm sorry, west, correct, yes, towards
Okay,
it.
that makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm just
My
getting
apologies.
confused. Okay, just clarifying. All right.
Shortest distance between 2 points.
Yep.
If they're walking, that looks like a good place to cross the main.
All right.
The only concern I have is from August to daylight savings time, when it's dark. That's the only problem I have with it.
Don't we have streetlights in that street?
We do, but they're not exactly right there.
Right
where
there
the-
at that point, huh?
Yeah, and sometimes street lights, when it's dark that time of day, can compete with car lights. Or
Would-
truck lights that are even higher.
To that point, would the signage that you talked about be lit so that at night or in areas of times of darkness?
The idea, from
they
what I
would be
understand it
visible?
from Joel, is that it would be a push button to activate a flashing signal, very similar to what we have at both Middleton Heights and Middleton Mill Elementary.
Solar, I assume.
Solar, yep. And it is also within the school zone, so there is a flashing light up ahead that would indicate they need to be going slower during school hours.
There's a flashing light at 20 mph prior to that crosswalk, when you come into that area.
So hopefully there'll be a due amount of caution before they
Yep.
get there.
And those 6-year-olds running.
Yeah, it's high school kids, so it should be
6-year-olds in
okay.
high school?
We should
Not
be
mine.
okay.
Kidding.
All right, any other questions? No, all right. Then I move we authorize mayor to execute an on-call service task order with Precision Engineering for the Willis Road RRFB crosswalk at Middleton High School, an amount not to exceed $10,600.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, number 7, regarding Willis Road and Hartley intersection pedestrian improvements, consider authorizing the mayor to execute an on-call service task order with Precision Engineering for the Willis Road and Hartley intersection pedestrian improvement concept development in an amount not to exceed $14,650. My mind wanted to say 14 million, that's why I was. Mr. Van Gilder.
Mayor and council, at the same council meeting a couple sessions ago, in conjunction with the last area, it was also brought up at the intersection of Willis and Hartley, which our clerk has brought up a top view of, an overhead view of, has other crosswalk issues. We do acknowledge that there are some issues here. We have curb ramps on the north west corner that kind of don't go anywhere. There are no receding curb ramps on the other side. We do have, it is stopped from the south heading north and from the north heading south. So there are some challenges here. The sidewalk on the northeast corner stopped short of the intersection. The sidewalk on the southeast corner doesn't appear to have any outlet to cross the street there in either direction. So we do have challenges here. This is one where when I talked with both our city engineer and our traffic engineering specialist, the traffic engineering specialist actually suggested that we do come up with a plan for what would be the kind of a good final solution here, or at least a good next steps solution here to clean up some of these things. He seemed to have in his mind a pretty good idea of what might happen next, and that's why he suggested that we draft up a plan like what's shown here, rather than a road safety audit like we did over at Cemetery Road. So what you have in front of you is a scope of work for him to draft up a concept that would kind of show us where we would like to go with this intersection. This will be, this is a little more sophisticated than the crosswalk that we just talked about, where it would be some obvious curb ramps. But this would position us well to start making applications to Compass or to other funding agencies as funds become available, to have a well thought out design and solution in hand. Often helps you with that. It might also help us take steps towards reaching out to Idaho Power about a sidewalk along the frontage there. And then we would also know what would happen should that southeast property ever develop. Have a plan to move forward there. So with that, I will be glad to stand for any questions.
Well, you and I were out there last week, and there was this big giant power pole.
Yes.
And we come up with any ideas? We can't move it.
That would be a challenge to move, yes. I think Joel has some thoughts about how to accommodate that in what we move forward.
Okay. Councilman O'Hara?
Just for future references, because it obviously was not included in the development plan for this subdivision, I think that that's something that we need to attach to our design concepts in the future, that we'll plan for those developments to install the crosswalks during their development process. I mean, you're developing on one side of the road, the other side's already developed. The only people it serves are the ones that are living right there. So I personally think that we need to clamp down on that in our design reviews.
Council President, Treasurer, Mayor. Just a question for my edification. I mean, I realize that the northeast corner
yes,
is a power plant of some kind, and the area that is around it that looks to be just sod or dirt is likely not to be anything more than that for the foreseeable future.
North, northeast, northwest.
Yeah, maybe I'm turned around.
We have technology to help us here.
Okay. That area there.
That area, yes. Yes.
That's the power.
That is Idaho Power.
And so there's nothing going to be happening here in terms of any kind of development why people would want to cross the road from there to anywhere.
Unlikely.
And so what about this area here now? Maybe there's some kind of a development agreement that was done before my time or whatever. Is that just
That
vacant
used to be the
property?
soccer field.
No, soccer field was the other way.
Yeah.
So that right there is a part of Stonehaven.
Okay, you're right, yeah.
And that was designed to be commercial. And he got to that point, he came back and said he wanted to turn it back to residential.
That's
and then
right, yeah.
we said no, and so there it's been sitting. When he came into fought to make it commercial, because his plan was small business, dentistry type things right there, which made
Right.
sense being next to a big high school.
Sure.
And so that's why that hasn't proceeded forward. And that, yes, that was a while ago with that.
So I'm trying to envision where the crosswalks would be an advantage. There, maybe that's what the study is for. Because residential going to the high school or.
Residential, a lot walking to high school. This is well developed up to the northwest.
Okay.
So I suspect there would be kids heading that way.
Okay.
From the northwest side.
And I'm not, I'm just informing myself to what the landscape looks like.
Is there any reasonable assumption that we could require Idaho Power to improve their frontage? Because when they built that lot out there, there was nothing out there decades ago.
Yeah. I recall Becky Crofts having a conversation with them that didn't go very far. There's some other challenges there. If you scroll up a little bit, there's a buried water main that kind of goes up north, south. I don't know that they were real interested in doing that. If we had a plan, that might be something we could go to them with and say, here's our plan, could we get a little right away, can we partner with you on this? I don't know that.
Can you fund it?
Fencing and.
We can always ask, we're glad to ask.
Absolutely.
Well, once we have a plan, could this be something potentially safe pathways to schools?
It could be, there's other
Avenues as well.
something similar to that.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay. Gotta have a plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Any other questions for Jason?
No, not at this time.
Okay. All right, then, where are we at? This
Number 6.
7. There we go. There's no 6 on the other side. It's messing me up. All right, then I move to authorize the mayor to execute an on-call services task order with Precision Engineering for the Willis Road and Hartley intersection pedestrian improvement concept development and amount not to exceed $14,650.
I'll second that.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, number 8, regarding notice of award for reservoir rehabilitation, authorize the mayor to execute a notice or award and enter into a contract with Coatings Unlimited LLC in an amount not to exceed $1,447,531 for the construction of the City of Middleton Reservoir Rehabilitation Project. The engineer's recommendation for an award along with a tabulation of bids received are attached. Mr. Van Gilder.
Mayor and council, we have talked before in this a number of times about the need to rehabilitate our large 2 million gallon reservoir. It serves us well. It is an important part of our water system, and it is in need of some new paint and just some other rehabilitation stuff to get some rust spots taken care of. We have budgeted for this for a couple of years. We have brought in an engineer to give us a concept of what needs to happen and then a final design of what needs to happen. We put together a bid package that we sent out to solicited bids for. We received 6, I believe. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bids, which was an encouraging sign. The bid spread was very reasonable. We had competitive bids received. The engineer went back and reviewed those bids and is recommending we move forward with Coatings Unlimited as the low bid. We do have this budgeted. One note on there, if you really looked closely, this is just slightly more than what was budgeted. What we have in here is an additive in case we find lead paint on the inside of that tank. We don't think we will. I think lead paint stopped being used on the inside of reservoirs before this tank was coated. But if we do, we already have a price for what it will take to abate that lead paint. So the full award amount that we're expecting to spend is less than this and within the budget amount. But wanted to make you aware of that, and that we've tried to think ahead and get some competitive bids as we're doing that on should we encounter lead paint on the inside. With that, I'll be glad to stand for questions.
The duration of the project?
We have about 3-4 months. So it'll be a significant undertaking to take that tank out of service. I already have our engineer and our crews working diligently to make sure we have a plan in place and are able to, which we are confident we'll be able to, take that system out and rely on just our wells without that backup storage, but still make fire flows in the city.
Okay, that was my next question, was
Yes.
fire flows.
So timing?
Next spring, the ideal time to paint would be before it gets too hot and you start getting condensate on the tank, and after the snow is gone and
Before the
so,
summer.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Jason?
No, thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
All right, then I move we authorize mayor to execute a notice of award and enter into a contract with Coatings Unlimited LLC in an amount not to exceed $1,444,531 for the construction of this City of Middleton Reservoir Rehabilitation Project.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 9, regarding public works surplus items, consider approving resolution number 533-25, a resolution of the City Council, the City of Middleton, Idaho, declaring certain public works property as surplus, authorizing and directing sale by public auction or surplus property. The items proposed for surplus are a Dodge 2500 year 2002 and a Ford F-350 2002, a John Deere 1444 lawn mower 2002, and a John Deere 8800 lawn mower. Maps, cabinets, museum building, what?
Windows.
Building windows.
Oh, windows, okay. And 10, the Pine Sewer Pumps, 2 Senses Apparel, water meters, 2 Senses Smart Point, sewer pumps, and 2 Better Built toolboxes, 2. Ms. Hobbs.
Mayor and council, that is a mouthful. Well done. So before you, we have some items that are surplusing from Public Works. We have pictures that are in the packet if you would like to take a look at those. We're going to send them to auction, see what we get for them. That's it. Questions?
I looked at the pictures.
It's time.
That stuff's a little beat up.
Well, I took those windows out of the museum. That was a decade ago.
The museum?
Yeah,
They got a grant to remodel, and
I
so
know.
they did that one.
I'm the one that did the remodel.
Recently?
Well, of the museum, yeah.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, they've been stored for a while. I didn't realize you still had them. It was crazy. All right, no questions? Okay, then I move we approve resolution number 533-25.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment on non-public hearing items of city business, 3 minutes each. Mike Rapp?
Mike, you're up.
I'm good.
Okay. Don Reynolds?
Thanks, Mayor. I was on the first agenda, I think I got skipped, so do I get 6 minutes?
That'd be no.
Okay. I just want to comment with recent events and happenings, in particular with county area of impact and with online election happenings. Take a note from Tank's playbook and tell you a story. I went to the store and I bought a Mountain Dew, it's a 20 ounce, and I paid $1.89 for it. Went back to the back and I found a 2 liter Mountain Dew for 89 cents. My question is, why would somebody pay $1.89 for a 20 ounce Mountain Dew and somebody else pay 89 cents for 2 liter? The point of the story is we all make value and judgment decisions in life. For some, there's more value in a 2 liter Mountain Dew than in a cold 20 ounce Mountain Dew, while for others, the convenience of a smaller bottle and a colder drink has more value. What we've seen in both the election and election results and the area of impact conversation is a difference in values. And I think we need to understand and recognize those values are important to this community. As we work as a community, we need to understand, one, values of different people are different. They're different at different times for different reasons, and we should respect those. I also should recognize that I think it's interesting. One thing just to note, there was a lot of discussion about growth in the city, and that also moved into the conversation about area of impact. Looking through council meeting and planning and zoning meeting minutes, I think I looked for you, Mayor, and plats that you approved. I looked for those of Ray Waltemate. I looked for those of Heidel Summers and Dave Murray, and I don't think I saw but 2 no votes on any of those plats that were presented to the city. One was Heidel, who had concerns with Dewey Road, and I think she voted no for that particular impact. My point is, values are important, but we also have to understand the rule of law and recognize that there's ordinances and codes that impact how we vote and why we vote and how progress moves forward. My ask of the city is that we put together somehow a method of explaining these things to people in a very clear and easy to understand way, so that when they're confused, because most people don't get impacted by an area of impact but once in their life or once every few years. And when it comes up, it's big, it's scary. My house just got painted red over a map and I don't know what's happening other than I don't want to be annexed into the city. And I think that's an understandable and reasonable expectation for people who don't understand the process or who have other experiences with process that moved annexation forward. I even heard one story of former mayors in this town who used annexation as a threat.
You're good, keep going.
Thank you. So I would just encourage the city to get really good at explaining these what seem to be very basic things, because you work with them and deal with them every day, to people who don't, to people who have hard time understanding the impact these have on our city and on their lives and on their homes and on their investments. I also think it's important that we are clear in the message we share, and that's a clear, as was stated earlier, that message is consistent in all forms and in all from wherever it's coming from the city. That needs to be said. But thanks for the work you do. I appreciate the efforts. I would say, like I said on Facebook, the reason this town is growing like it's growing is not because downtown is charming. I really don't think it is. But it's because the people are charming. The people are nice. The people are friendly. And if we quit being so nice, so friendly, and so charming, maybe we can stop the growth.
Thanks.
Okay.
Can I speak at this
Did
point?
you sign on the
I
sheet?
signed on the first and I abstained at that point.
I'll ask my counsel, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. 3 minutes.
3 minutes, absolutely.
Teresa Denham, 25381 Kimpton Drive, here in Middleton. And I've been watching also on Facebook, and I have been walking around and speaking to many, many citizens here in Middleton. And one of the big concerns that many of the citizens have is the ever-increasing bills, especially with their sewer bill. And the people who I've been speaking to as a real estate agent are in a quandary because they're older. Many of them are older, they're disabled. I've got a lot of veterans I work with, and they are unable to move. But with these things coming up and the expenses rising 25% a year for the last 2 years, and who knows how much more coming soon, they are extremely concerned, they are afraid, and they don't know what the city's doing because the comprehensive plan keeps changing. So it's really hard for them to even know which way to look. It's hard to be able to help them and provide for them information, and I'm hoping that you can consider your constituency as you make decisions coming forward so that we can avoid this kind of issue. I mean, here we honor our veterans at the beginning, and at the end we kick them out of their houses, and I don't think that's right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now it's the mayor, the staff, and the city council's comments. So I'm going to try to address that in off the top of my head way. Napa just did their ribbon cutting for their sanitation plant. I don't know off the top of my head how much it was, but they divided the price between 129,000 or 60,000 houses. Star is now adding on, and it'll be another 50 million. And they have 23,000 homes and building. Middleton has about 5,000 to 6,000 homes, and we have to spread this huge amount of money through just a few homes. We made the decision through elections that we wanted to control our growth. And this is one of the side effects, unfortunately. Everything has gone up. The first time I heard about the sanitation plant was about 8 years ago. And at that time, I was told $35 to $40 million. And then somewhere just before COVID, I was told about $55 to $60 million. And then we have COVID and supply chain issues, and now we're told 78 million. That would be the first stage. If I remember right, top of my head, in order to get this done, the state is also our feds, our DEQ, we have to add on more EDUs. We can't just go and build it with zero. With the amount of money we're using, we came up, the engineers and all of those people that are smart, a lot smarter than I, came up with 1,000 EDUs. That's a hookup per house. So those two components, the money and the EDUs on a small population, is going to be a hardship for many, many people. Unfortunately, it's coming at a time where food's a hardship. Things breaking in their houses are hardships. Everything has gone up over the last 4 years. The council spent hours going over this, and many of us walked out of those meetings going, what the heck? Why are we, one, having to do this, and two, this is going to break the backs of many of our people on fixed incomes and veterans, as you well stated. But when it comes down to it, the federal government is demanding this of us, and this is the cost, and we only have a limited amount of households to share that burden. And that's just the first phase. And then there's the next phase and the next phase over the next few years. We don't want to do it. If I had that kind of money, the first thing I would do is move middle schools somewhere and get it off Highway 44 if I could wave a wand. But the facts are the facts, and there's no easy or best solution. There's the only solution that we were dealt with, the cards that we were dealt. And I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mayor Hutchison. Thank you.
Okay, so we are adjourned.
Oh, wait a minute. quick with that hammer there, young lady.
Yeah, but you know what? He will tell you this is my meeting.
That's true.
Go ahead.
A couple of things. First off, I'd like to have a little more information presented to us in regards to the young man, or the gentleman that came in requesting a variance for a swimming pool.
So I already thought about that. I hate to interrupt, but that's the kind of person I am. I would like you to work with our Roberta Stewart because she has all the answers. And
No, she doesn't have all the answers. She
well,
just got most of the information in front of her.
yes, and I don't.
She needs
and
some
I think you
answers.
would be a great person to work.
I'd
on
be more than
behalf of
happy
that
to.
gentleman.
Well, I was assuming the city would, not to interrupt you, but assuming the city would reach out to him, because there are avenues. We
There
have
is.
appeal processes for a reason, and therefore it needs to be guided that way. We can
It
talk
does.
about that later.
And, yeah, we've had 4 conversations that I know of,
Okay.
and there's got to be some way to work with them,
Yeah.
but code is code, and
we
but
can-
I think Tim would be great.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
I'd be more than happy to.
Thank you, sir.
The second thing I wanted to comment on was to thank Janet Gibson for her commentary earlier this evening. I think she's spot on and well spoken.
Yes, sir.
President Kaiser, I have a comment. I just wanted to tack on to what you were talking about with the water treatment plant. Good explanation, Mayor, but I want to emphasize a couple of things first, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. But the DEQ and the Idaho Environmental Protection have mandated these changes, so we have no choice, as the mayor said. So I wanted to clarify that. The other thing too is maybe the public doesn't know, but we've done a lot of things to mitigate the cost of this over the past, 6 years, 5 years, to the point of buying properties to the south of us where we pump treated water into the fields and then raise and harvest the alfalfa. That is a mitigation to keep us from having to pump that treated water into the Boise River. There's been a lot of effort on the city's part to try to mitigate this cost. And it is that we are, as Mayor said, in an unfortunate position to have a heavy bill for a small number of residents comparatively. Final thing would be, this is not just us. This is, I don't know how many. I think it has to do with all the entities that pump water into the Boise River. Is that right, Jason? But it
Yes,
isn't just
yes.
us. Everybody
No,
has.
there are lots of other communities in very similar positions to where we are.
Right. And then I wanted to say one other thing. Miss Palange had some comments at the beginning where I don't know that you were in, but she had some questions on the future expansion, the difference between the 78 and the 120 that you talked about in your video. If you could take a moment with her after the meeting, that would be helpful.
We skipped.
Go ahead.
You're aware of that. So we were going to have staff speak next. Does staff have anything to say?
Jason,
With all this discussion, it's a great time to plug the workshop plan for next Wednesday, I think, where I'm going to talk extensively about all things wastewater, wastewater rates, wastewater funding plans, wastewater connection fees, impact fees, all things wastewater. But actually what I wanted to bring to your attention was some good news. We have had a side-by-side in the budget for 4 or 5 years now, and the side-by-side is now sitting in the back parking lot. It's got a really cool snowplow on the front and a salt spreader in the back that's going to help us clear off parking lots, our parking lot here. And then it's got a weed spreader so it can phase out some of the older outdated equipment as well. So
Have a good heating system in it?
What's that?
Does it have a good heating system?
It does. It's got windows and come check it out afterwards. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, and one more note on the sanitation plant. The first week I became mayor, I had the honor of signing for a grant. Since then, we've tried a few other things that we've signed for. And I think we've received $40,000 out of the request of $78 million. I humbly, with audacity, wrote the President of the United States and have not heard back. I wonder why.
Imagine that.
Yeah, but I thought, you know what the heck, let's try. You know, I think I tried to remember what country it was. I think it was Japan was going to give us 250 billion or something, and I thought all we need is 200 million. No. Anyways, so we are trying. We've spent a lot of time to try to. The 40,000 was such a disappointment, but we keep trying and trying and trying. And you had one more thing you wanted to say.
I just wanted to reiterate the issue with the expense for the wastewater treatment plant coming to our citizens. That this is not the first time that the EPA has crushed Middleton's budget, to say the least. That is precisely why we have a Parks and Recreation District now. Is because the city could not afford to maintain a park site that was Hawthorne and turned it back over to the school district because of EPA requirements to the wastewater treatment plant. So those of you that have not been old farts around town like I am, probably didn't realize that, but this EPA mandates are what is driving this wastewater treatment plant upgrade.
Well, I started hearing rumors that President Trump was looking into all this because it's hurting so many of the smaller cities. And I said, well, what's the time frame? And they said, well, if everything goes as planned, 7 to 8 years. And I'm like, that's not going to help us.
Oh, great. Well,
And it's not even if it's going to do anything or make it worse. But the time is 7:17. We're all done?
Thank you.
Done and out.
Done now. Thank you very much for your patience.
Back when the lights were on, you know that how those lights got there?
That whole Hartley Willis, I lived in some downstairs, and I was been my one.
Yeah, been around for myself.
Those lights actually got you.
No, I just wasn't sure how they would.
I know that. Yes, I saw that. Yeah, we should have commented on that. Why didn't we comment on that? I am sorry.